Hi friends, today I am going to start my session on web development using Python Flask framework. So let's start with the course content. I will be starting with what is a web application, what is a client server model, what are the types of client server architecture, and we will also look into what is web application and website difference, what is the web application architecture, what is the workflow in a web application, and what are the benefits of using web application. So let's start with what is a web application. As you can see in this uh, picture, a web application is a computer program that performs a specific function by using a web browser as its client. So a application can be anything, for example a message board or a contact form that you fill on a website, or a word processor application, or a multiplayer gaming app that you download to your phone. So basically a web application, if I summarize it, is a client server computer program which in which the client, which is a user interface, runs in web browser. And common applications of a web application, I told you, it is online webmail or an e-commerce platform like flipkart.com, amazon.com. So all these web applications are based on a client server model. So let's start with a client server model. So basically if we see in this diagram, it is showing that web server which is capable of getting a request, handling it request, and giving a response with a web page. And there is one side a client which is capable of uh, requesting the page and getting the web page as a response from a server. And a user can see all these things on his desktop. So basically what a client server architecture or a model which is working in a web application is this. So in this diagram we can see that there is a client which is requesting and getting response from the internet, and on through the internet there are three types of servers are attached, like web server, application server, and database server. So first we look into it. What is client? Client is used in a client server environment to refer to a program the person uses to run the application. So a client server environment in which multiple computers share information, such as entering information into a database. And a client is an application that used to enter or request the information, and server is an application that used to store and respond back with the result or the information. So basically a client server model is a distributed application structure that partitions tasks or workloads between the providers of a resource or service called server and service requesters, which are the clients. So often clients and server communicate over a computer network. Here it is internet, as you can see in the picture. And the computer network can be on a separate hardware, but both client and server may reside in the same system. So if I explain a server is a host that runs on one or more server programs and which share their resources with the client. And a client a client doesn't have its own resources, but it requests a servers for the content and services or a resource on a server. So therefore client initiates the communication with server which await incoming requests. So it will wait till the time a response from the server has been coming to it. So if I say an example of a computer application that uses the client server models are email, network printing, or WW, World Wide Web. So basically, client-server architecture describes the relationship of cooperating programs in an application. And a server, where you can see in this diagram the web server, application server, or a database server, is a component which provides a function or a service to one or more clients. So if I say there is a single client in this diagram, but there are many clients. So a client word is used for multiple or one or more clients here. So what I was saying, that server component provides a function or a service to one or many clients, and which initiates the request for sys services. And servers are classified by the service they provide, like application server, like database server. For example, a web server serves web pages, a file server serves computer files, and a shared resource may be any of the server software component, and from a program to data processors or a storage device. So sharing of resources of a server constitutes a service. So whether a program is a client, a server, or a both, it is determined by the nature of application that requires the service functions. For example, a single computer can run web server, file server software at same time to serve different data to clients, making different kinds of requests. So client software can also communicate with server softwares within the same computer, and communication between servers and clients are basically a different mechanism. So let's take a quick explanation of client server communication. So in general, a service is an abstraction of a computer resource, and a client doesn't have to be concerned with how the server performs while fulfilling the request and delivering the response, right? So basically, the client is here just to demand or request a resource. It is the work of server to handle, fulfill, and respond back with the requested information or the requested resource. Client doesn't have to worry about all these things. All these things are maintained on a web server or a application server or a database server. So client only has to understand the response based on the well-known application protocol, that is the content and formatting of the data for the requested service. So client server exchange messages in a request response messaging pattern, and the client sends a request and the server returns the response. As you can see in this diagram, client is sending the request with orange color and getting back the response in black color. So for this process, request response messaging pattern is called inter-process communication. So to communicate, the computer must have a common language, and they must follow the rules so that both client and server know what to expect. The language and rules of communications are defined in a communication protocol, and all client server protocols operate in application layer. So basically, the application layer protocol defines the basic pattern of dialogues. So to formalize the data exchange even further, the server may implement a API. API is basically an application programming interface. And if I explain you what is an API, application programming interface is an abstraction layer for accessing a service. So by restricting the communication to a specific content format, it facilitates parsing, and by abstracting the access, it facilitates cross-platform data exchange. So basically, a server may receive requests from many clients and many different clients also in a short period of time. So a computer can only perform a limited number of tasks at any moment, and therefore in this case, if a server has a large number of or a huge number of requests coming from different clients, so there is a scheduling system. So what does this scheduling system does in this case? It Prioritize the incoming requests from the servers to accommodate one by one. So to prevent the abuse and maximize the availability, the server software may limit the availability of clients. And in this case, there is also a denial of service attacks designed to exploit the server's obligations to process requests by overloading it with excessive request rates. So if I move on to the examples of a web application that uses client server models, although all the web applications uses client server model only. So most web applications are based on this model only, where the client enters the information while server stores and retrieves and respond back with the information. So if I say internet email is an example of this, where there is a Gmail or a Yahoo Mail for this, and over the past several years there has been a big push for web applications to be developed for functions that normally need a server to store the information. So your word processor is also another example, and it stores documents on your computer and it doesn't need a server. So a web application can provide same functionality and gain benefits of working across the multiple platforms. For example, a web application can act as an word processor, storing an information over the cloud and allowing you to download the document on your personal hard drive. So let's move on our next slide. Here I will be sharing you the information about what are the types of architectures. So basically there are three types of client server architectures. So we call it as one tier architecture, two tier architecture, and three tier architecture. So three layers. So tier here I am referring to as a layer. So there are three layers involved in an application, which is first is application presentation layer, then application layer or a business layer, and then the database layer or a data layer. So these three layers combine an overall application. So let's talk about first application layer. So presentation layer. So it is also known as a client layer, and to topmost layer of an application is this presentation layer, and this is the layer we see when we use a software. So by using this layer we can access the web page, and the main functionality of this layer is to communicate with the application layer, and this layer passes the information which is given by user in the terms of keyboard actions, mouse clicks, to the application layer. And for example, when you log into a page of a Gmail where an end user could see text boxes and buttons to enter the user ID, password, and to click sign in, then this layer which is presented by you when you log in into a Gmail and a web page, this is the presentation layer. Now user will enter his user ID, the password, and click the sign in. So it is the user is interacting with an application layer. So in simple words, it is the view of an application. Got it? And the next layer is application layer. It is also known as business logic layer or a logical layer, we can also say that. So as per the Gmail, if I take an same example of a Gmail login page example, so once the user clicks on the login button after fulfilling his password and user ID, email ID, then the application layer comes into picture and it interacts with the database layer and sends the required information by checking from the database layer to the presentation layer. So it controls an application's functionality by performing detailed processing. This layer acts as a mediator between presentation and a database layer, and the complete business logic is written in this layer. So if I summarize it, it is used to perform operations on the application. It is the summarized definition of an application layer. So let's move on the third layer. So basically the database layer or a data layer is the layer where the data is stored, and application layer communicates with the database layer to retrieve the data, and it contains methods that connects the database and performs required action, for example insert, delete, etc. And in simple words, it can use to share and retrieve the data, and it is a repository of data. So let's now, after getting it, so in a simple way, presentation layer is the view of an application. Application layer is to perform operations on the application, that is the main functionality of an application. And data layer is the repository of data to share, and which shares and retrieve the data accordingly, according to the request. So let's check on first one tier application, as you can see here, where all the three layers, presentation layer, business logic layer, data access or database layer, is in a single software package. So the applications which handle all the three tiers is for example can be an MP3 player or an MS Office, where all the data is stored in the local or system or a shared hard drive. So user interface, application logic and data, all the things resides at client location. So we also say that as a client tier architecture. So it is a one tier architecture. So let's check on the second tier architecture. So the two tier architecture has divided into two parts. The first part is client application or a client tier, and the second part is the database tier or a data tier. So client system handles both presentation and application layers, and server handles database layer. So it is also known as a client server application in the second tier, the two tier. The communication takes place between client and server, and the client system sends the request to the server system, and the server system processes the request, formalizes the result, and sends back the result or a data to the client system. So it is a to and fro request response model. So basically in this diagram we see there are many client computers at client tier, and there is one database repository. So client directly interact with the database server, and server having the repository of data will be responding back as per the request. So the third type of client server architecture is three tier architecture or a three layer architecture. It is divided into three layers. First is presentation layer, that is the client tier, application layer, that is the business layer, and the database layer, which is the data layer. So client system handles the presentation layer, application server handles the application or the programming logic, and the database server handles the data layer. So basically all these three architectures are currently these three tier architecture is used in modern web applications. So further, if we talk in terms of web development or website development or web application development, so we will be referring on the three tier architecture now. So let's take another, let's move on another session.